Welcome back, friends. Today we're making rose petal jam, a recipe that feels like a small piece of poetry passed down through generations. My grandmother used to say that roses carry the warmth of the sun, and when you capture it in sugar, you can taste summer, even in the middle of winter. If you enjoy these little windows into village life, make sure to subscribe. It's not just recipes we share here. It's family stories, traditions, and the taste of Ukraine that I want to keep alive with you. Now I'm heading to the village market. It's not just a place to buy food, it's the heart of the community. Every Saturday morning, people come here not only with baskets, but also with stories to share. You'll see grandmothers selling herbs they've gathered at dawn, their hands smelling of mint and chamomile. Children run around with sticky fingers from fresh honeycomb. Everything feels alive here. Ukrainian markets go back hundreds of years. In the past, they were held near churches after Sunday service, so people could pray, then celebrate life with food, trade, and laughter. What I love most is how every stand has its own character. Jars of pickled vegetables stacked like colorful soldiers, homemade cheese wrapped in linen, buckets of berries shining like jewels. My grandmother always said the market is where real news traveled. Not in the newspapers, but in the voices of women selling eggs and men weighing sacks of flour. I've just returned home from the market, my basket full and heavy. My husband is waiting, and that moment of being welcomed feels as important as the food itself. In village life, someone meeting you is a silent way of saying, you are never alone. I love sitting with our dogs and cats. Animals here aren't just pets. They are part of the family rhythm, sharing in every moment of home life.
А ти знаєш, Мурчик не хоче приймати нашу велику таку собаку.
Now we are about to scythe the grass. In the village, mowing isn't just about neatness. A tidy yard shows respect for your ancestors, your neighbors, and the land itself, almost like tending to a living altar.
Не буде, це буде це. Ай! Ай! Буде кроликом. Ай! Ай!
My grandfather often told me, if your yard is clean, your thoughts will be clean too. For him, cutting grass was more than work. It was a rhythm, a way to clear the mind, one stroke of the scythe at a time.
Забери мене, бери до свого серця, і нехай любов рікою розілється.
Now it's time to gather roses. And before I head to the roses, I pick up a little puppy and kitten from the yard, placing them gently into the basket. They love to come along, curious about every flower and every sound.
Опа! Опа! Давай, Бурочка. Давай, опа!
Roses in Ukraine were never planted just for looks. They were protectors, symbols of warmth, and silent guardians of the household. My grandmother believed a blooming rose near the gate was a sign the family inside would always be blessed. She taught me to pluck the petals gently, one by one, so their natural oils would stay alive. She would say, "The secret of good jam is not sugar, but patience." And I've carried that lesson into my own kitchen. In the past, petals were dried for winter, filling jars for tea that cured colds and lifted spirits. They were boiled into syrups that children loved, or turned into homemade perfumes stored in tiny glass bottles. Roses even found their way into bread. Women would braid petals into dough for weddings and Easter, so every bite carried both sweetness and blessing. Bread with roses was food and prayer in one. Farmers believed that roses held sunlight. Eating rose jam in January was like tasting last summer's sun, a cure for sadness, a reminder that warmth always returns. For children, collecting petals felt like play. But for women, it was a ritual. They gathered them with the same care as holy water, believing that gentleness made the petals stronger. My husband and his friend are inside the house, busy plastering the walls. In the village, home repairs are never just work. They're part of the rhythm of everyday life. You don't usually call professionals here. Instead, neighbors and friends come together, tools in hand, laughter in the air, turning even hard labor into a kind of shared celebration. Before I begin cooking, I take time to feed our dogs and cats. Watching them eat always reminds me of childhood. My grandmother would say, "If your animals are well fed, your home will always be blessed." It was her way of teaching kindness through simple daily rituals.
Їсти. А ти малесенька, що ти будеш отак? Красуня.
Once the animals are happy, it's time to prepare the fire. Setting up the mangal feels almost ceremonial. The crackle of wood, the rising smoke, the sense that something special is about to begin. In Ukraine, fire is more than heat for cooking. It's the center of gatherings, where people share stories, sing, and sit close together. Lighting the fire always feels like calling people home. Then I walk to the old well to draw fresh water. The bucket creaks against the rope, the sound echoing deep inside the earth. Every sip from that water tastes different, colder, purer, like a gift from the soil itself. Now I finally begin cooking with the rose petals. Each one feels like holding a tiny piece of summer in my hands. In Ukrainian villages, this jam was always a way to capture sunlight, joy, and warmth, saving them for the coldest days of winter. Rose jam in Ukraine has a long history. It was considered almost medicinal, believed to calm the heart, soothe the mind, and bring a sense of peace. People didn't eat it daily. It was reserved for special moments, celebrations, and moments of comfort. My grandmother made this jam every summer. She said it was like bottling the season. So when winter came, we could open a jar and taste July. I remember watching her, fascinated by how such delicate petals could become something so lasting and sweet. Washing the petals is a ritual in itself. Each one must be handled gently, then mixed with sugar until it releases its fragrance. The kitchen instantly fills with a perfume so delicate, it feels like walking through a rose garden after rain. Historically, rose jam was considered a luxury. Only families with enough resources or for special occasions would make it. It was served at weddings, during holidays, and to honored guests, a gesture of care, respect, and love. Literature and folklore also celebrate roses. In Ukraine, giving rose jam to a child or friend was symbolic. It meant, here is sweetness for your soul, a little act of protection and blessing wrapped in sugar. If you're enjoying these little glimpses into village life and the stories behind our traditions, don't forget to subscribe. I remember sneaking into the pantry as a child to taste the syrup. My grandmother would pretend not to notice, then smile knowingly, saying, "Jam is meant to be stolen by little hands because love is best when shared secretly." This recipe was passed down through generations. Mothers taught daughters, daughters taught theirs, and each family added its own subtle touch, a hint of lemon, a pinch of mint, making each jar unique, yet tied to the same tradition. Roses were also believed to carry protective energy. Preserving them in sugar wasn't just about taste. It was thought to store blessings, sunlight, and hope for the colder, darker months of the year. Some households had their little secrets, adding a tiny amount of lemon or a sprinkle of herbs. Every family's rose jam tasted slightly different, yet all carried the same warmth, love, and tradition in every spoonful. Making rose jam was often a communal task. Children picked petals, women stirred the pots, and men brought firewood or fetched water. Everyone contributed, making the process as much about togetherness as about the final product.
Ой, черзілля, черзілля, черзілля. Моя руша до кохання, червона руша до любові.
Stirring the pot feels meditative. The colors, the scent, the soft bubbling all remind me of long summer afternoons, of laughter and stories told around the kitchen, of generations living and loving through a simple jar of jam.
Так навіщо на весілля мене
Now I'm slicing the sallow, and already the aroma brings back memories of countless village breakfasts. In Ukraine, sallow is more than food. It's a symbol of home, warmth, and family gatherings. This dish has been cherished in Ukrainian kitchens for generations. Historically, it was prepared to fuel long days of work in the fields, for celebrations, or to share with neighbors and guests. Sallow was always a sign of generosity and care. Frying sallow with eggs and fresh vegetables over an open fire is almost a ritual. The sizzling, the smell of smoke mixing with the savory aroma, and the sight of bubbling fat. It connects you directly to the rhythm of village life. In older times, sallow wasn't just about taste. It was a vital source of energy and calories for rural families, especially during winter or after hard work in the fields. Every bite gave strength and comfort at the same time. Families often cook this dish to celebrate small victories, a successful harvest, a birthday, or the safe return of someone from the fields. Eating it together reinforced bonds and created moments of shared joy. Cooking outdoors over fire also had symbolic meaning. Villagers believed that food cooked with smoke and warmth carried the energy of the land itself. Sharing it with loved ones was a way to pass on that strength and blessing. Now I'm going to prepare rose tea with a hint of lemon. The petals infuse the water with delicate fragrance, and every sip tastes like summer saved in a cup, soft, warm, and calming. I'm curious, do you have a favorite flower or herb you love to use in your tea? Let me know in the comments. I always enjoy discovering new traditions from you. Oh, here come my husband and his friend. They've been working hard, and now it's time to feed them. In the village, sharing food after a day of labor is as important as the work itself. It's a moment to rest and connect.
Ну так, у нас сьогодні пелюстковий рай. А тут є рушничок. Фасолі? Ще давайте. Ще давайте. Тут вам постелити?
Everything smells incredible right now. I'm serving everyone, placing generous portions on their plates. There's something so comforting about watching loved ones enjoy food you've prepared with care.
No.
I'm preparing a cup of tea with honey for each of them. Adding honey isn't just for sweetness. Historically, Ukrainians believed it had healing properties, giving strength and boosting energy after long hours of work. We've just finished eating, and the yard is filled with the lingering aroma of food and tea. It feels so peaceful, a moment to breathe before returning to the next step of our cooking. Now I'm going back to preparing the rose jam. The petals are waiting, and I can't wait to continue turning these delicate flowers into something sweet, fragrant, and timeless. Well, the rose jam is finally ready. Its soft pink color and delicate aroma fill the air, reminding me of long summer afternoons. Now it's time to carefully pour it into the waiting jars, preserving not just flavor, but memories. Historically in Ukraine, rose jam was considered a luxury, reserved for special occasions like weddings, religious holidays, or for honored guests. Each jar was a gift of respect, a little treasure shared with those closest to you. Rose preserves aren't unique to Ukraine. In Turkey, gul reçeli is a fragrant breakfast jam, while in Iran, rose petal jam is a staple for tea and desserts. Each culture celebrates roses in its own way, connecting food with heritage and beauty. Bulgaria's Rose Valley is famous for rose jam, used in pastries and sweets. In India, rose petal preserves are paired with milk desserts, offering a delicate floral note. It's fascinating how the same petals inspire so many flavors across the world. In Ukraine, families store rose jam in cool pantries or cellars to last through winter. Each jar becomes a little time capsule, a taste of summer, a memory of sun-drenched gardens, and a reminder of home during cold months.
Вау, 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 вау. Ой, яка гарна.
Some families even use rose jam in creative ways, pairing it with cheese, bread, or desserts. The balance of floral sweetness with richness shows how traditional recipes can be versatile, playful, and endlessly inspiring. In villages, extra jars were often made to give as gifts during holidays. Offering rose jam was like giving sunlight and love, a gesture of hospitality and care that strengthened bonds between neighbors and friends. And of course, now it's time to taste this delicious rose jam. The color, the aroma, and the soft, sweet petals make it irresistible even before the first bite. The first spoonful melts in my mouth, and instantly I'm transported to sunny summer afternoons, the scent of roses lingering in the air, and my grandmother teaching me how to stir the petals just right. If you enjoyed these little journeys into village life, family traditions, and the stories behind our recipes, don't forget to subscribe, join me, and let's keep these memories and flavors alive together.